Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Once again, I'm here with an inspirational personality and his inspirational story. And I always say that through this episode, we are trying to bring you people with inspirational stories. And this evening, my esteemed guest is Mr. Rajendra Joshi. Mr. Rajendra Joshi was in the police service, Indian police service in Rajasthan, and midway he switched to the United Nations security. And for a very long time, he worked in the United Nations in different countries. And he also traveled more than 100 countries. That's one of his hobbies is travels. Um, and even now he is doing on a freelance basis consulting with the United Nations and a person as a speaker, motivational speaker or a knowledgeable speaker in demand nationally and internationally. So his traits are many. Some of them I know. One of them is cooking. He's a very good cook. I learned a few cuisines from him, how to make them in his own style. And music also, he has a good sense of music. He can sing well. If he was not doing anything else, he would have been a singer to me. एंड विद दैट राजन जोशी जी, आपका स्वागत है हमारे इस एपिसोड में. हम हिंदी और अंग्रेजी जैसा भी हमें लगे उसमें बातचीत कर सकते हैं. जनरली फॉर द इंटरनेशनल व्यूअर्स वी ट्राई एंड स्पीक इन इंग्लिश, लेकिन बीच बीच में हम हिंदी भी बात कर लेते हैं ताकि हमारे नेशनल लिसनर्स को भी कुछ मजा आए सुनने में. ऑलरेडी देयर आर व्यूअर्स मेकिंग कमेंट्स, सो after a while we will respond to those. So with that small introduction, Joshi ji, would you like to tell us something about your family background, your life story, or how it all started and how you have been doing in life?
Namaskar. Thank you so much, Pansab, for giving me this opportunity. Good evening to all the viewers and the members of your group. Pansab has spoken very high of me, which I really don't know whether I deserve it or not. But I would like to share some of my experiences as we progress in this show. My life journey has been very interesting. By the grace of God, I had rare opportunities, rare privileges, which many might not have. Starting my career as an assistant professor in the Jaipur University, I remained a faculty member for a few years. I taught at the university. Then I joined the police services, especially Rajasthan cadre. And then in 1996, I got the first time opportunity to join the United Nations as a peacekeeper. So I went to the first ever police mission in the Europe, in Bosnia and Herzegovina, UN-MIBH. And there I served for almost less than slightly 2 years. And then I got opportunity to serve the United Nations on regular basis, on different positions, senior positions, very challenging positions, but mostly in war-affected countries or in conflict zones all over the world. Be it maybe Bosnia-Herzegovina, Sierra Leone, East Timor, Iraq, Sudan, Southern African countries. So I served the United Nations for quite a long time. on various positions. It's a very rare privilege that I served in different positions, starting as a peacekeeper. Then I became the team leader of the selection committee for the peacekeeping mission. So I had to go to different countries and select the peacekeepers for different peacekeeping missions. Then I became one of the senior police advisors in Western African countries. And from police advisor, I joined the Office of the Internal Oversight Services of the United Nations, which is the very prestigious department because you investigate very high level cases of the United Nations. You have the power and privileges to interrogate and interview up to the Under Secretary General level of staff. You have uninterrupted access to all the premises, facilities, programs of the United Nations, and you investigate and you submit your reports. That report goes to the General Assembly, and then it is finalized. Then from Office of Internal Oversight Services to I became the chairman of the Board of Inquiry in one of the peacekeeping mission. And from there, I joined the core security group of the United Nations, which is the Department of Safety and Security. And I became the chief security advisor. And I served different countries, different continents for a long time. I would say this is a rare opportunity and a rare privilege. Currently, yeah.
I'm trying to understand what motivated you to go to United Nations, leaving the IPS position.
पंत साहब बचपन से ही पढ़ने लिखने का शौक था, तो थोड़ा जियोपॉलिटिकल कंडीशंस को मैं पढ़ता रहता था. ज्योग्राफी का भी, हालांकि मैं साइंस स्टूडेंट था, लेकिन मेरा हिस्ट्री में बहुत इंटरेस्ट रहा. I was a keen reader of all the historical books. Even in my competition examination, history was my subject. So I read history of almost many of the countries. So the geography, the geopolitical conditions, political affairs, the international politics, all these things, they attracted me toward the United Nations. Secondly, when you join the United Nations, you are an international civil servant. Like when you are an IS, you are an Indian Administrative Services. But when you joined at a P level as a professional in the United Nations, you become an international civil servant. Your salary is according to that criteria. You enjoy the diplomatic immunities, and you have the opportunity to travel to the many countries without even visa. So all these things motivated me, but primarily my passion, my hunger, my unsatiable appetite to travel the world, that attracted me to the United Nations.
Karanji, I'm tempted to ask you a very uncomfortable question. Of course, we are all retired, so we can talk about it. You see, United Nations did very good job for quite some time, and everyone was supporting United Nations. But now we see UN as a silent spectator when it comes to superpowers, and only they become active when smaller nations are in the picture. See what is happening in Ukraine. So you saw what is happening in the Middle East and Gulf. So do you think it will bounce back, or it has lost its relevance in terms of dealing with the superpowers?
Like in every human's life history, you have ups and downs. Similarly, the organizations, the international institutions, they also have the checkered history, going up and down, having good time and bad time. So is with the United Nations. United Nations has seen very good time when it had very successful missions. We had very success stories in the history of United Nations, but at the same time there are downsides also. Similarly, in United Nations history, there are some downfalls also. As a matter of fact, at present, the United Nations is at a crossroads. The credibility, the overall credibility of United Nations is at its stake. It's very true. But again, you have to remember that United Nations is a conglomeration of 197 countries. It is run by the member state countries. All the policies, the decisions are taken by the superpowers. Those who are the fundraisers, those who are the donors of the United Nations, the veto power countries, they have the primary role in the United Nations. So it all depends. The might is right. So if there is a war in Ukraine between Russia, yes, nobody is going to stop it. America attacked Iran, nobody can stop it. America attacked Iraq, nobody could stop it. There was a war between Iran and Iraq, nobody could stop it. So this is all international politics, very high level politics. I would say that nothing to be disappointed from the role of United Nations because it has very successful stories also. We had very successful missions like Bosnia mission was a very successful story. East Timor was a very successful story. Mozambique was a very successful story. Cambodia was a very successful story. Congo is still continuing. Haiti was a successful mission. So there are good missions and bad missions. Currently, yes, I admit that the credibility is at stake, and people are losing faith in the United Nations. But you have to remember, Pansab, that America is contributing 24% of its overall core budget, whereas India is contributing just 1%. Japan is giving almost like 7 to 8%, and China is giving 22% of its core budget. So 22 plus 22, 50% is only America and China. And then you count the UK and then France and Germany. So the European Union, if you take the European Union and plus America and China, it's almost like 75% of the budget. So definitely things will happen according to their consent and their approval. This is all in the love and war type of situation. So this is my answer in brief.
Thank you. The answer is well appreciated. There are ups and downs, and ये वक्त भी गुजर जाएगा sometime. That provokes me to ask you another question. What are the newer trends in the security now? Now that you talked about those who contribute budget, their will and intents will prevail. So what other new trends we see in the security of the world as such?
Well, there are two aspects. One is at the domestic level. That means I think you are indirectly asking me about the change in the crime. What exactly has changed in the overall security and crime situation? And another is at the international level in the warfare. If I would talk at the domestic level, I would say that the violent crimes and the pattern in the physical assaults has come down. With the digital economy and the digital money, the cyber frauds have gained the currency, and now in time to come, we need to be careful about all the hackings and the cyber crimes. The digital arrest, which is the latest phenomena you might be reading in the newspaper now and then, that many senior people, even very educated and even civil servants have been digitally arrested. And lot of cyber frauds are going on. In my time when I joined the police, there were very popular gangs like in Jaipur. We had the Kacha gang and we had the Pardis and other all the tribal people who will come in the gang and attack, and they will cut your hands and legs and take the ornaments and they will kill you. These types of crimes are waning away now gradually. People have become more intelligent. There is a super fast speed. People can move from one place to another very fast. People can rob you digitally very easily rather than robbing you physically. Just for example, we don't keep money at home now. We don't keep ornaments at home now. What do we keep at home? If you look around, what is the most expensive thing in your home? At the most, a laptop, a mobile, or a TV, or some electronic gadgets. People will not take away it because they will not run the risk of carrying these heavy things now. So they would rather like to rob you digitally. So that has to be very careful. At international level, the physical assaults and the physical confrontation is completely is deteriorating now, is going down. Instead now, for example, the latest warfare between Iran and US and Israel, you see it's all drone war now. Even missiles have been reduced. It is basically the drones war. Now the army is not going to marching in the armada and the infantry and the artillery in a coordinated affair, not crossing the border and going to other country and having a face-to-face war. This is no more now. It's all from a distance, the digital war now, use of the latest electronic gadgets, the missile, intercontinental ballistic missile, the drones. These are the latest things. So I think one needs to be very educated. One has to catch up with the latest technological development. These are the very important things, and these are some of the main changes which is taking place.
Thank you. That yes, it is very true. We have to be aware of the side effects and other side of the technology and digital world, particularly those who are digitally not to do well or then digitally challenged. Rajanji, now let me take you to a more interesting arena. Let's talk about your passion of travel. I saw you are yatra tatra sarvatra everywhere. Rajendra Joshi is there in the reels with khayal.com. That is a organization for senior citizen. So they adjudged you as the traveler of the year last year. I saw it and your interviews. I am sure my other viewers also would have seen them, those who keep flipping the reels. So, what is the motivation to travel so much and so extensively? Let me, before you say, let me also tell our audience that Rajan Joshiji does not take the packaged plans. Wherever he goes for longer durations along with his wife and one of his own wife. And also, there are sometimes he travels by bike. I saw in Europe about 3 countries, who are island countries. He had traveled the whole island through the bike, the periphery of the island. That's what I read in that Khayal write up. So tell us a little more about your passion of travel and some interesting anecdotes or experiences you had.
Thank you for all your compliments. And thanks to Khayal organization who selected me for the first prize. They awarded me last year in October the Travel Enthusiast of the Year. Actually, since my childhood, I had the passion for traveling. मेरे दिमाग में ये जुनून था कि मुझे दुनिया देखनी है, चाहे कैसे भी देखनी है. बचपन में तो मैं इतना पैशनेट था कि मैं कभी कभी सोचता था कि अगर मुझे और कोई अपॉर्चुनिटी नहीं मिली तो मैं शिप के ऊपर क्लीनर बन के भी चला जाऊंगा और दुनिया देखूंगा मैं. बट गॉड वाज ग्रेट. he gave me the opportunity to join the United Nations, which became the biggest platform for me to travel all over the world. The interesting thing about my travels is that I don't travel as a tourist. I hate to call myself as a tourist. I like to call myself as a traveler. I travel, and normally I plan my travels. I read a lot. I do some research. मेरा मैप्स के प्रति बहुत ही अट्रैक्शन है बचपन से ही. मुझे मैप्स, अगर मुझे कोई सोते हुए पूछ लेता है कि आप अपनी उंगली से मैप के ऊपर हाथ रख के बताइए कि बुखारेस्ट कहाँ है, या सोफिया कहाँ है, या ऑकलैंड कहाँ है, या उलान बतूर कहाँ है, तो मैं शायद बता दूंगा. इतना मुझे फैसिनेशन था मैप्स के प्रति. मेरे यहाँ बहुत बड़े बड़े ग्लोब्स रखे हुए हैं. जब मैं स्कूल में पढ़ता था तो मैंने रीडर डाइजेस्ट का सबसे बड़ा जो एटलस होता है, जो उस समय 1968-69 में शायद 150 रुपए का होता था, वो मैंने मंगाया और उसको मैं देखता रहता था. और मुझे बड़ा शौक था. बचपन से मैं नेशनल ज्योग्राफी की मैगजीन पढ़ता था, स्पेन मैगजीन पढ़ता था, अमेरिकन रिपोर्टर्स पढ़ता था, रशियन मैगजीन्स जो आती थी वो देखता था मैं. और मेरी बड़ी इच्छा होती थी कि एक दिन मैं यहाँ जाऊँगा, एक दिन मैं यहाँ जाऊँगा. बहुत से तो मैंने मैप्स को ट्रेस कर करके, ऑयल ट्रेसिंग कर करके मैंने अपनी फाइल बनाई कि वन डे आई विल गो टू दीज प्लेसेस. और फॉर्चुनेटली करीब करीब मैं उन सभी जगहों पे चला गया. तो ये मेरा इंटरेस्ट शुरू से रहा. बचपन में कुछ समय हिचहाइकिंग भी की मैंने. एक बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग इंसिडेंट हुआ था जब मैं स्कूल में पढ़ता था. तो मुझे माय ब्रदर इन लॉ वाज इन आर्मी and I had to drop my sister to Misamari in Assam. So I took my sister with me and we took the Assam rail train. I'm talking of 1971 when I was in school. And I dropped her to my brother-in-law's place. My brother-in-law was major in army at that time, in Armed Medical Corps. So I dropped her in Misamari. And then I took few days off to wander around. So I went to Sikkim. And when I reached Sikkim, I found that I had no money left to come back to Udaipur. So what to do now? So I went to the Indian consulate. That time, Sikkim was not a part of India. It was a consulate. It was a special protectorate state of India. So I went to the consulate and I tried to contact the consulate general, who was Mr. Bawa, a Sikh gentleman, maybe from the Indian Foreign Services. So I met him, and I very earnestly, I requested to him that I have no money to go back. Then he said, "How have you come here?" I said, "I have done some hitchhiking and I reached here." So he said, "Okay, write down your experiences of hitchhiking and come down tomorrow here." So I wrote down all my experiences on a paper and I gave it to him, my article. He was so happy to read it, and then he gave me 120 rupees. And with that money, I returned to Jaipur. So that sort of passion is there. Coming back to my particular style of traveling, normally I like to do the surface transportation. I prefer surface. When I'm in a country, I rent a car and I go from one corner to another corner. The longest journey of my life on road has been of 7,500 kilometers in one trip. 7,500 kilometers. I traveled from Belgium through Germany to Denmark to Sweden, Norway, and Norway to Sweden, and then Finland, and coming back to Belgium. That was 7,500 kilometer road journey in a camper van. I traveled from Namibia, Windhoek to Zanzibar, all the way from Namibia to Zambia, Tanzania, and then I went from Namibia to Cape Town, almost like 2,000 kilometers, then through Western Cape, coming back to Botswana, and from Botswana to Namibia, I traveled from Amman through Lebanon, Syria, Damascus in Syria, Cappadocia in Turkey, and then coming to traveling different places in Turkey, Istanbul, and coming back, almost like 3,500 kilometers. Traveled by road all the way in Namibia and in New Zealand, from north to south up to the Queenstown, Milford Sound, the extreme corner of New Zealand. Traveling all the western coast of Australia, starting from Darwin through Sydney to Melbourne to Perth to Adelaide, all this area, almost like 3,000 kilometers. So many, recently, 2 years ago, I took a car and traveled all over in Scotland. I went almost every nook and corner of Scotland. At the end of my travel, when I met some Scottish friends, and they asked me, where did you go? And I narrated about my journey and my places. They were shocked. They say, even as a Scot, we have not been to these places. So I went to all the places. In South Africa, I remained posted for almost like 6 years. That also gave me an opportunity to travel the Southern African countries. I have been all the nook and corners of Zimbabwe, Angola, South Africa, Lesotho, Swaziland, Botswana, Namibia. Of course, it was part of my mandate also. I had to look after these countries, so I had to travel all these countries. As you mentioned about the island countries, yes, like for example, Sicily, Ireland, Cyprus, many of these islands, I took a peripheral round, almost like from one corner to another corner. I drove all over on these islands, all the places. Many places, Iran, Iraq, Sudan, many places, I think. I've been to many of these places. Recently, I went to Vietnam, and I went almost all the places in Vietnam, from Sapa to Hanoi to Da Nang to Ho Chi Minh to Mekong Delta. I covered all these places. I like to go to the places where most of the people don't go. I don't go like as a tourist. I don't go to the tourist places. I go to the places which are less frequented, less trodden by the people, and I go to some of these places. I interact with local people. I stay at with the local people, and eat local food and cook my own food if possible, particularly in Airbnbs. So that's how I travel, and that's my hobby.
Rajendra, you are forgetting a very important the milestone which you have, with not many people have been heard about. The longest railway starting from Europe and ending in Southeast Asia. You did mention that.
ट्रांस साइबेरियन रेलवे सबसे बड़ी रेलवे मानी जाती है, जो कि सेंट पीटरबर्ग से शुरू होती है और पूरा रशिया क्रॉस करके मंगोलिया, उलान बतूर होते हुए चाइना में जाके एंड होती है. मेरी बड़ी इच्छा थी उसको, ट्रेन को लेने की. अभी तक ले नहीं पाया. अगर इंशाल्लाह अगर कभी टाइम मिला तो I might take that train also. But I have traveled in the train in most of the country. For example, I took train in Egypt everywhere, like from south to go to the northest point, Alexandria. I took the train in Egypt. In many other countries also, I have traveled by train. So yes. आपको मैं एक बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग बात बताना चाहूँगा कि शायद आप भी पूछना चाहेंगे कि पहले की और अब की ट्रैवल में क्या चेंजेस हुए हैं. बड़ा रेलेवेंट प्रश्न है. फर्स्ट टाइम आई ट्रैवल्ड अब्रॉड इन 1994, और 1994 के बाद से आप देख लीजिए कि करीब 33 साल हो गए, 33 इयर्स. इंटरनेशनल फॉरेन ट्रेवल्स में बहुत चेंज. नॉट ओनली इंटरनेशनल ट्रेवल, आई वुड रादर से दैट देयर इज ए ग्रेट चेंज. आप इमेजिन नहीं कर सकते हैं कि दुनिया कितनी बदल गई है हमारे देखते देखते. जब मैं 1994 में ट्रेवल किया तो मैंने एक बनियान खरीदा जिसमें अंदर जेब होती है, और उसमें मैं डॉलर्स रख के गया था. कन्वर्ट करवा के और पिन लगा के, और हमेशा रात दिन वो बनियान में पहने रहता था कि कहीं चोरी नहीं हो जाए। उस समय ये क्रेडिट कार्ड की फैसिलिटी नहीं थी, हर जगह डॉलर ही चलता था, और जहाँ भी आप किसी भी कंट्री में जाइए डॉलर दीजिए और लोकल करेंसी को कन्वर्ट करिए और कन्वर्ट करके वहाँ अपना काम चलाइए। तो आप देखिए उस ज़माने में और अब ज़माने में कितना फ़र्क है। पहले फिजिकली डॉलर कैरी करना पड़ता था, अब आपके पास क्रेडिट कार्ड है, you don't have to carry any currency in your pocket. You go to any country and you can take the money from the ATM machines. कितना बड़ा चेंज है। शुरू में हम जब जाते थे तो सबसे पहला काम होता था कि वहां उतरते ही टूरिस्ट ऑफिस में जाके और मैप लेना सबसे पहला काम होता था, और उस मैप का ओरिएंटेशन करके और प्लान करते थे कि कहाँ जाना है, कैसे जाना है, और पूछते पूछते हम लोग जाते थे। उसके बाद जीपीएस का जमाना आया। जीपीएस भी अब पुराना हो गया, अब गूगल मैप आ गया है। आप देखिए गूगल मैप से ट्रेवल कितना इजी हो गया है। आप गूगल मैप से कहाँ होटल है, कहाँ रेस्टोरेंट है, कहाँ शॉपिंग सेंटर है, कहाँ क्लिनिक है, कहाँ पेट्रोल पंप है, कहाँ एटीएम है, यू कैन डिस्कवर एट जस्ट प्रेस ऑफ योर बटन। अमेजिंग। आज से 25-30 साल पहले हम कल्पना नहीं कर सकते थे कि इस तरह की कभी ट्रेवल्स हो जाएगी। तीसरा बड़ा चेंज आया है एकोमोडेशन के अंदर। पहले तो इंटरनेट नहीं होता था। 1994 में जब मैं बाहर गया फर्स्ट टाइम, तब इंटरनेट भी नहीं था। तो मेरी वाइफ न्यूज कटिंग्स बन के और पैकेट बना के बाई पोस्ट मुझे भेजा करती थी, जो कि 10-15 दिन बाद मुझे सरायों में बोस्निया के अंदर मिलता था। और अब आप देखिए आपके पास इंटरनेट की फैसिलिटी है। अब आप देखिए एयरबीएनबी, आप एयरबीएनबी पे फिल्टर डाल के जैसा चाहें जिस पैसे के एकोमोडेशन आप ऑल ओवर वर्ल्ड आप बुक कर सकते हैं। अमेजिंग। आप सेल्फ कैटरिंग अपार्टमेंट ले सकते हैं, आप पूल विला ले सकते हैं, आप हेरिटेज हाउस ले सकते हैं, आप बीच फेसिंग हाउस ले सकते हैं, आप एक कमरे की अकोमोडेशन ले सकते हैं, आप इवन जॉइंट अकोमोडेशन ले सकते हैं। सस्ते से सस्ता और महंगे से महंगा आप अकोमोडेशन केवल ऑनलाइन के ऊपर कर सकते हैं। आपकी जो ओवरऑल ट्रेवल है इट हैज बिकम कंप्लीटली ऑनलाइन ओरिएंटेड, मतलब सारी की सारी। आप फ्लाइट की आप बुकिंग देख लीजिए, आप रेंट कार की आप बुकिंग देख लीजिए। अमेजिंग। मतलब जो चेंज आया है, मैं ये कहता हूं कि हमने जब 1994 when I started my international travel in 1994-95, how difficult it used to be। मैप हाथ में लिए लिए गाड़ी में बहुत सी जगह मेरी वाइफ मैप को गाड़ी में मेरे साथ बैठ के खोल के रखती थी और बताती थी लेफ्ट चलिए, राइट चलिए, सीधे जाइए, और फिर पूछते पूछते हम लोग ड्राइव किया करते थे। और अब आप देखिए कि गाड़ी में इनबिल्ट आपके जीपीएस लगा हुआ है और उससे आप ट्रेवल करिए। कितनी फैसिलिटीज हो गई है, सब तरह के आपको फूड मिलने लग गए। पहले तो इंडियन रेस्टोरेंट भी नहीं होते थे, अब तो इंडियन रेस्टोरेंट हर कंट्री में, हर सिटी में इंडियन रेस्टोरेंट हो गया है। आपकी ब्लिंकिट और स्विगी और ग्रैब और पता नहीं क्या क्या आपकी कुरियर सर्विसेज हो गई है। अभी मैं वियतनाम में गया, वहां पर आप घर बैठे आप ग्रैब पे आप जो ऑर्डर करें आपके पास आ सकती है। घर बैठे आपके पास जोधपुर की मावे की कचौरी आ सकती है। कैन यू बिलीव इट? सो द वर्ल्ड हैज चेंज, एंड honestly speaking, life has become very comfortable as far as the travel is concerned. Travel has become very easy with the digital money, with your plastic card as a credit card. आप कितने सिक्योर हैं, मतलब इमीडिएटली आप अपना कार्ड कैंसिल कर दीजिए, आपने ट्रांजेक्शन्स कैंसिल कर दीजिए, आपको चोरी चकारी का कोई डर नहीं है। अमेजिंग। मतलब वी आर रियली कम ए ग्रेट वे, एंड I don't know the next generation, what next generation is going to see. Maybe they'll be traveling to moon and other planets. Hopefully. हम तो दुनिया में घूमते रहे।
बिल्कुल जमीन आसमान का फर्क हो गया है उसमें, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर में भी और टैरिफ और प्राइसेस में भी। आपने बताया तब और अब में। एक ऑडियंस क्वेश्चन लेते हैं। आपकी तरह प्रोफेसर हैं, यूएन में रहे हैं, कहते हैं कि even if you go to 100 countries, people's surroundings and sceneries are almost same with minor variation. Do you agree? Please also say, with exposure to so many countries, what actually one learns and how the society benefits with your experiences.
whenever I travel, or whenever I sit with my friends or my acquaintances or colleagues, the first question they ask me, which country you like the most? And this is the most difficult question for me. Honestly speaking, having traveled more than 105 countries, I found every country unique. Every country unique. It's different. Yes, humans are all over the same. Food habits are almost like the same. Clothes may also be the same. The only difference is language. Interesting phenomena. Anthropologically, it's a very interesting subject, and I used to write about it also. That I have traveled all over Africa, and you travel from one country to another country. Say, for example, you start from Tunisia. You travel Tunisia to Algeria. The Arabic is spoken and the French is spoken. Then you come to Morocco, and then you immediately find Arabic and French. Then you come down on the Western Sahara, then again French is spoken. From Western Sahara, you come down and you come to Senegal, then again the French is spoken. Then from Senegal, you come down to Guinea-Bissau, then the language is totally different. It is Portuguese. Then from Guinea-Bissau, you come to Guinea-Conakry, and then again the French is spoken. Then you travel a little far and you come down to Sierra Leone, English is spoken. Then you cross Sierra Leone, you come to Liberia, and English is spoken. You cross Liberia, you come to Ivory Coast, and again French is spoken. You cross Ivory Coast, you come to Ghana, and English is spoken. Then from there you come to Gabon, and again French is spoken, and then other language is spoken. So you see the interesting phenomena. This is all the results of the colonizations, except in Namibia, where little bit of German is a familiar language, and again German, Portuguese, French, and English. Only in one country, the one or two countries, Italian is spoken in Africa. The language is different. Language is different. So coming back to your question, you say that people are same. No. Human instincts are same. The way of loving is same. The expression of hunger is same. The lovemaking is same. Cuddling the child is same. The human instincts all over the world are same, but when you study them, when you interact them, then you find that it differs from country to country. It differs from country to country. Like, for example, you go to East Timor. I spent almost like 3 years in East Timor. And in East Timor, you will find a very sort of a cultural amalgamation. It was a Dutch colony. From Dutch, the Portuguese took over. From Portuguese, the Indonesian took over. And then from Indonesian, then it became the independent autonomous country. And you will find different type of behavior, a mixture of all these cultures mixing together as a melting pot of a different culture you will find there. Now, you come to Africa. Now, in Africa, you will find that there are the Boers, the white population. They're coming from all over the Europe, the British and all over the European Union. They are coming during the Boer War in the 18th century, in the 19th century in Africa. And then you find the Zulus on the western coast. Then you find other communities in the Central Africa. And again, their behavioral patterns, interactional patterns are totally different. You come to Sarajevo, where I spent almost like 2 years in Bosnia-Herzegovina, which is right central. And I tell you, if you would have asked me what was the most interesting mission of my life, I would say it was Bosnia and Herzegovina, where I went for the first time in 1994, and then, 1996, and then till end of 1997, I was there. Now, in Bosnia, there was ethnical conflict. I won't go into details of the history because it was basically Yugoslavia. the great man Marshal Tito. He was the person who combined different races, different ethnicity into one country, and it became the Yugoslavia. And later on, in 1995, gradually all these countries became separate. In 1995, 1996. In 1996 March, the Dayton Agreement was signed in America, and the Bosnia mission came in March. And I went to Bosnia in 1996 March. Now, a small country, Bosnia, can you believe, was divided into three parts: the Croat population, the Bosnian Muslim, and the Serbs. Now, you need sort of a permission to go from Croat area to Serb area, from Serb area to like, for example, in Delhi, from Chanakyapuri, you want to go to Radford area, you need a permission. And from Radford, you want to go to Janakpuri, you need a permission to go there. So again, in one city, in Sarajevo, you were meeting three different races, three different communities. And when I was the regional commander of Sarajevo, fortunately, that was the highest position in a European country for an Indian. I was the first Indian to be the regional commander of Sarajevo, supervising almost like 450 international senior police officers coming from 45 countries. And that time, when I used to travel, I had a Croat interpreter, a Serb interpreter, and a Bosnian Muslim interpreter in my car. 3 interpreters at a time, and going in different parts and talking different languages and trying to understand them. Even in Sierra Leone, you cross the one zone to another zone, and the language will change, the pattern will change, the human behavior will change. So very interesting things when you travel all these places. Geography, I would say, again, geography is different from country to country, places to places. I survived minus 30 degree in Sarajevo, minus 30 degree temperature. And then I also survived 52 degree temperature in Kuwait and in Iraq. When I was in Basra, I would not come out of my container, prefab container, up to 12 in the midnight, so that it will little bit cool down. But even when I come out of the prefab container, it would be 50 degree temperature outside. So these different type of temperatures, climates, and all sort of faunas and floras are different from country to country. Coming back to your question.
Thank you for that very elaborate and informative reply. And with that, I am tempted to ask you a question. आपके इतने सारे ट्रैवल के एक्सपीरियंसेस हैं, इतने कई मुश्किलात भी आई होंगी, कई जगह दोस्त बने होंगे, कई हम सफ़र होंगे, तो आपने ऑलरेडी अपना ट्रैवल एक्सपीरियंसेस के बारे में लिखना शुरू कर दिया है, या करने वाले हैं, या करेंगे? ये बहुत इसको एक सुझाव भी समझें. इट विल बी वेरी यूजफुल ट्रैवलॉग बेस्ड बुक फ्रॉम यू.
ऑनेस्टली नॉट. छोटी मोटी लिखा पढ़ी तो लंबे समय से करता रहा हूँ, अपने एक्सपीरियंसेस वगैरह लिखता रहा हूँ मैं, लेकिन ऐसे बुक लिखने का मैंने कभी नहीं सोचा. मेरे कलीग्स, मेरे दोस्त मुझे बहुत मोटिवेट करते हैं. दे कीप ऑन मोटिवेटिंग मी कि आप लिखिएगा. लेकिन मैंने देखा है कि दुनिया में बहुत किताबें हो गई और अब पढ़ने का तो शौक बहुत कम होता जा रहा है. दुकानें भी किताबों की बहुत कम होती जा रही है. किताब परचेज करने की हैबिट्स भी बहुत कम होती जा रही है. मुझे तो पढ़ने का बहुत शौक रहा है, बट आई फाइंड दैट these habits are diminishing now. Everybody is on Kindle and encyclopedias and Googles, and you just open your mobile and you read lot of things. अभी तक तो मैंने सोचा नहीं है, लेकिन हो सकता है कभी अगर कोई ऐसा अपॉर्चुनिटी आई तो मैं डेफिनेटली लिखने की कोशिश करूंगा.
आपने ना कह के भी हाँ में जवाब दे दिया आपने. मतलब ये किंडल में लिखिए, किंडल में फ्री है. आपने क्या उसको क्या करना है? कोई खरीदे ना खरीदे, किंडल में पढ़ेगा कोई. और राजेंद्र जोशी ने जो देखा, जो लिखा, वो कोई और थोड़े लिखेगा, चाहे हजारों किताबें हों, लाखों हों, उससे क्या फर्क पड़ता है. बहरहाल लेट मी आस्क यू, आज क्योंकि इतनी इंटरेस्टिंग बातें हैं, तो विल not have time barrier of half an hour. We have already done 45 minutes. तो ट्रैवल और ये प्रोफेशन के अलावा और क्या आपकी हॉबीज हैं? ये और ये सबसे पहले ये भी बताइए हमारे ऑडियंस को, इतना अच्छा खाना बनाना आपको किसने सिखाया?
खैर, मेरी वाइफ बहुत अच्छा कुक है, शी इज एन एक्सीलेंट कुक, और मैंने उन्हीं से खाना सीखा है। और ये खाना बनाना तो मजबूरी हुई है। मुझे यूएन मिशंस में बहुत सी बार अकेले रहने का मौका मिला, रहना पड़ा मुझे। बोस्निया में मैं कुछ समय तक अकेला रहा, सूडान में मैं अकेला रहा, इराक में मैं अकेला रहा। हालांकि यूएन में खाना तो मिल जाता है, लेकिन फिर भी बहुत सी बार जब अकेले रहने का मौका पड़ा तो आई एंड आप भी इस टिमोर में रहे हैं, तो you remember that I lived in a family, that the local family, and I had the full access to the kitchen so that I could cook my own food. मुझे खाना बनाना अच्छा लगता है। खुद का बनाया हुआ खाना खाने का एक अलग ही आनंद है, और जब कभी मौका मिलता है तो बनाना चाहिए। और मैं तो समझता हूँ कि हर आदमी को आना चाहिए खाना बनाना। जब हम खाना रोज खाते हैं, सुबह शाम खाते हैं, तो उससे परहेज क्या है? मतलब एवरीबॉडी मस्ट नो हाउ टू कुक, और अपने पसंद की जो डिशेज हैं वो सबको बनाना आना चाहिए, मेरा तो ये मानना है। तो खाना बनाना पहले शुरुआत तो मजबूरी थी, लेकिन बाद में ये हॉबी में टर्न हो गई। रिगार्डिंग माय अदर हॉबीज, मुझे पढ़ने का बहुत शौक है। मैं आज भी टाइम्स ऑफ इंडिया रोज पढ़ता हूँ, उसके एडिटोरियल्स को पढ़ता हूँ। हालांकि अब ये बहुत पुरानी हैबिट है लोगों की, ख़त्म होती जा रही है। तो पढ़ने का मुझे शौक है, जब भी कोई नया एडिशंस कुछ बुक्स आती है तो मैं पढ़ता हूँ। संगीत का मुझे बहुत शौक है, कराओके पर हम लोग कुछ कराओके सेशंस भी रखते हैं, गाने का शौक है थोड़ा बहुत, वो भी रखते हैं। स्टॉक मार्केट में भी मैं थोड़ा इंटरेस्ट लेता हूँ, उसमें भी थोड़ा मेरा इंटरेस्ट है। घूमने फिरने का शौक है, लेकिन सबसे बड़ा जो मेरा शौक है, अगर आप माने या नहीं माने, वो है ह्यूमन इंटरेक्शन। मुझे दोस्त बनाने का बड़ा शौक है। मैं कहीं भी जाता हूँ तो मेरे बहुत दोस्त बन जाते हैं। ऐसा कोई कंट्री नहीं है जहाँ मेरा दोस्त नहीं है आज की डेट में, और मेरे उनसे 40 साल 50 साल पुराने कॉन्टैक्ट्स हैं। जो बन गया वो बन गया, ये समझ लीजिए आप, वो छूटेगा नहीं। मेरी तरफ से तो नहीं छूटेगा, वो उसकी खुद की तरफ से छूट जाए वो बात अलग है। लेकिन ट्रेन में बैठूंगा तो दोस्त बन जाएंगे, शिप में जाऊंगा तो बन जाएंगे, कहीं ठहरूंगा तो दोस्त बन जाएंगे। सबसे दोस्ती हो जाती है, बड़ा अच्छा लगता है उनसे मिलके, उनसे इंटरेक्ट करके, उनके बारे में जानने में, और उनको होस्ट करने का भी मुझे आनंद आता है, उनके साथ ठहरने का भी मुझे आनंद आता है। तो ये भी मेरा एक बहुत अच्छा, मतलब मुझे लगता है। और मुझे खुशी इस बात की है कि मेरी वाइफ भी जो मेरी हॉबीज़ हैं उनमें पार्टिसिपेट करती है। उन्हें भी गाने का शौक है, उन्हें भी कुकिंग का शौक है। हम लोग बाहर होटल में खाना बहुत कम पसंद करते हैं। हार्डली वी गो टू द होटल्स और रेस्टोरेंट। वी बिलीव इन मोर हाइजीन्स एंड nutritious food, so we like to cook at our own. We mostly rent a Airbnb which are self catering. हम लोग सेल्फ कैटरिंग एकोमोडेशन रेंट करते हैं, और उसमें अपना खुद का खाना बनाते हैं, और उससे आपके पैसे की बचत भी होती है। मैं आपको छोटा सा एग्जांपल देता हूँ। व्हेन आई ट्रेवल्ड इन यूरोप इन ए कैंपर वैन फ्रॉम बेल्जियम टू ऑलैंड आइलैंड इन फिनलैंड, इट वाज ऑलमोस्ट लाइक 3 weeks journey. You may know that Norway, Sweden, Finland are most expensive country. Even Denmark, very expensive country. And we used to drive and then stop at a resta place, go to a supermarket, buy some raw foods, vegetables, yogurt, fruits, and some breads and everything, and milk, and then we'll cook our own food. So all through the way, we cooked our own food. And at the end of the day, when we finished our trip, and when I calculated, it was a very, very economical trip, which was very amazing, that having traveled for 3 weeks in all over these Scandinavian countries, even Iceland, I stayed in Airbnb and I cooked my own food. You cook once in a day, you don't have to cook 2 times. You make your breakfast, and at the same time you cook something and then eat it when you come back in the evening. So it is hygienic food, it is good food of your taste, and you save money also. And there is no harm in saving money. Money saved is money earned. I believe it. So
Sure.
these are my hobbies basically.
तो चलते चलते कोई आपका पसंदीदा गायक हो मेरे अलावा, तो उसका कोई गाना सुना के इसको प्रोग्राम खत्म करना चाहेंगे?
I don't think this is the right platform to sing a song for that. We are indulging in a very academic and very international discussion. कभी और आपके साथ कराओके नाइट रखेंगे और फिर पूरा गाएंगे उसके अंदर अच्छी तरह से. अभी उस मोड पे आने में थोड़ा सा डिफिकल्ट रहेगा मेरे लिए, बिकॉज
चलिए
आई
ठीक
एम
है,
एट
चलिए
प्रेजेंट
ठीक
इन
चलिए ठीक है,
फॉर्मेट.
ऐसा कुछ नहीं है, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है, हमारा कोई फॉर्मल प्रोग्राम नहीं है. हमने सोचा क्या पता एक मुखड़ा सुनाई दें आप, तो इसलिए फिर मर्जी आपकी है, फिर कभी सही. तो राजन जी, आपने अपना समय निकाला और अच्छी अच्छी बातें बताई, अपनी एक्सपीरियंसेस का जिक्र किया, उसके लिए आपको साधुवाद है. और आप स्वस्थ रहें, घूमते रहें, काम करते रहें, कुछ ना कुछ अपनी हॉबीज को परस्यू करते रहें, और हमारी यही शुभकामनाएं हैं. और हम ये चाहेंगे, इसको हमारा निवेदन भी समझ लीजिए कि आप अपनी किंडल पे सही, लेकिन अपनी किताब जरूर लिखें. ये जो 105+ कंट्रीज और जहाँ जाते हैं और तब तक और हो जाएंगे, तो उसके कुछ लिखिए, कुछ चुनिंदा मोती निकाल के गहरे पानी में जाके निकाल के लिख दीजिए उसमें. आजकल तो वॉइस से भी टाइपिंग हो जाती है, तो कोई ऐसा इशू नहीं है. या ऑडियो बुक्स लिख दीजिए, उससे अगर आपको लिखने में कोई समस्या हो, मैं समझ सकता हूँ, तो फिर आप ऑडियो बुक लिख दीजिए, बना दीजिए. ऑडियो बुक और अच्छी है, किसी को सुनना, स्क्रीन भी नहीं देखना पड़ेगा, लोग सुनेंगे. With that, I thank you and good night. Thank you,
Thank you so
viewers.
much. If there is
Thank you,
any
viewers.
question or
Thank you,
something, but
viewers.
thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, and thanks to the audience for their patience and listening to me. United Nations, Police Department, international travels is a very vast subject. It really takes a lot of intelligence to pick up what exactly to mention and what not to mention. But thank you so much for your very intelligent questions, covering almost all the aspects and giving me this opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.